Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. Before the event starts, I will lay out some housekeeping announcement. First, this program is broadcast live at Facebook UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang, media Facebook rasmi and YouTube Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar. UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang channel. Please scan the QR code or click the registration or video description to register. Third, all registered participants will be given a certificate for attending and participating in this event. For UiTM staff, please fill in the feedback form for your jam latihan, and for UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang students, fill in the feedback form and scan the e-activity using Student Activity Attendance Penang apps. Fourth, if you have any question, feel free to write in the chat section via Facebook or YouTube. Please write your name, institution, and lastly your question. Thank you.
Ya semua. Sebutin tu lah.
Now, I invite all participants to sing the national anthem Negaraku and wawasan serta warga UiTM.
Bersatu kita warga UiTM, kita bangsa perkasa, taat dan setiaku untuk negara, penuh semangat wajar. Kita jangan mudah terlupa pengorbanan perjuangan anak bangsa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good day. Salam UiTM di hatiku, #kita UiTM. Yang berusaha Profesor Professional Technologies Dr. Salmiah Kasolang, Rector of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Yang berusaha Profesor Madya Dr. Nur Aziah binti Bahari, Deputy Director of Research, Industry, Community and Alumni Network of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Yang dihormati Dr. Ainurhila binti Mahmud, Project Director of Unlooking Students that watch this event live from our Facebook. Organized like to extend a warm and welcome to Unlocking Student Innovative Potential Webinar 2021. This event has been organized by Pulau Pinang and collaboration with student Syami bin Abdul Jamal to recite the doa.
Al-Fatiha. And to people who like the good thing, let us avoid doing the bad and evil thing. O Allah, bless our life in this event and prevent us from harm and unfortunate thing. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
Amin, Amin, Ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you to Mr. Muhammad Ishaq Syami bin Abdul Jamal for the recitation of dua just now. First and foremost, thank you for joining our webinar today. Our main goals of this program are: first, to provide information and guidance to students on the production process and innovation. Second, to improve student knowledge of the importance to register our innovation. And third, to increase student interest to create their own innovation and eventually able to be commercialized. Brothers and sisters, now I would like to invite the one that support this event with all her heart and a beloved mother. Figure to us, our lovely and beautiful rector of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang, Professor Professional Technologist Dr. Salmiah Kasolang, to deliver her speech and officiate the Unlocking Student Innovative Potential Webinar Potential Program. Please welcome Professor Professional Technologist Dr. Salmiah Kasolang.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First and foremost, thank you so much, the MC today, Soleha. Your name is beautiful. I believe that you are really Soleha, inshallah. It's a dua every day. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, thank you. Yang Berusaha Associate Professor Chemist Dr. Nur Azia Bakhari, our Deputy Rector Research Industry Community, Alumni and Networking, UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Thank you so much, Dr. Azia, for this event. It has materialized today. Yang Berusaha Dr. Ainur Khila Mahmud, the Coordinator of Research Management Unit, UiTMCPP. TS Mohamed, Syazwan Osman, the key person, who will share his experiences, the key person of today. The speakers, Senior Lecturer, Faculty of Chemical Engineering, UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. He is one of the exemplary senior lecturer. He is very active. There's so many things that he has done last year, and that's why we purposely invited him today to share and to give some of his energy to the students, in terms of innovation. Executive members of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang, Mr. Mohamed Irsyad Syahmi bin Abu Jamal, the President of Majlis Perwakilan Pelajar UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Thank you so much. I think tadi yang baca doa pun adalah Irsyad sendiri, Wonderful. And fellow academicians, participants, we have participants from the international side. I am really grateful for your presence today, and thank you so much for being part of our event, students, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to this international webinar program, Unlocking Students' Innovation Potential. And thank you for your presence here today. Without your cooperation, we may not have a successful event. Specifically, I would also like to thank the organizers, research management unit, and the committee members to make this event a success. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished one speaker today, which is technologist Mohamed Syazwan Osman, for the kind sharing on the knowledge, expertise, and experience in product innovation with us and with the students. I'm sure that the sharing of the knowledge and experience by our speakers is another noble effort to foster and create an entrepreneurial culture among the students. The keyword entrepreneurial. This is one of the government agenda. We want to create employers among our graduates. Most of the graduates will become employees, but we hope this is the national agenda. This is the national hope that among those graduates we can create entrepreneurial, businessmen, businesswomen, probably 3% to 10% accordingly. We hope to create that. So this we call a future businessman, businesswoman will create more jobs. It will be multiplied, and the effect is wonderful. That's what we want. Another thing, let me check my experts. Let me read this one. Innovation begins with a dream. I am a dreamer. When I drive, I like to dream, daydream. Things begin in your head with a mental picture. Then, if you really focus and say to Allah or to God, let me have this. Ya Allah, pimpinlah saya. Ya Allah, beri tak saya dapat benda. We begin with a dream, and then we ask blessing from Allah, from God, and we put our effort, and inshallah it will materialize, because we believe that Allah is loving. He has a bounty of blessings, so we can always ask. Winston Willem once said, "I dream by my painting, and I paint my dream." I dream my painting, and I paint my dream. Wonderful. A person's confidence in his or her ability to take action and to persist in that action despite obstacles or challenges is crucial to achieve his or her dream. Furthermore, this international webinar is organized especially for students. This is organized by students for students. Datangnya dari pelajar untuk pelajar. So it is more meaningful. I believe this webinar will give a great boost to the students' idea in creation, design, innovation of new products using the existing technology. Innovation is very much associated with technology to some extent. With the advanced technology, we can achieve new things. which we cannot achieve before. Even in investigating behavior at the micro level, with the advance in technology, by looking at a microscope or SEM, we can see through things that is not obvious to the naked eye. That is the power of technology. It is hoped that the resulting innovation will help students develop products with high commercial value and become an entrepreneur. I'm confident that with the sharing of knowledge, expertise, and experience from our distinguished speaker, as well as strong support from various parties, students can gain new spirit. Spirit. You got to have that spirit first. Yeah, you've got to have that energy. You've got to have that desire. You've got to be motivated. Yeah, and then once you have that, then there's so many things that will come to you. Yeah, will come to you. So begin with a positive vibe, strong vibe, vibes from your side. Students can gain new spirit and think along with 1,000 branches of entrepreneurial ideas to be realized later. My hope that this program will be able to stimulate encouraging entrepreneurial activities and further produce knowledgeable and capable entrepreneurs who are able to compete locally and globally. And I also like to comment a little bit of potential. When somebody says potential, what is the mental picture? Yeah, especially students. Yeah, what is the mental picture that you have in your head when people say potential? To me, potential is a good thing in you that you should realize, that you should unleash, so that it can be used for good things. If most of us are like engineering students, potential means the ability to do good job, good work, but good, useful work. Yeah, engineering students, when we say potential, the ability to do useful work. We talk about potential energy. Why do we have a potential energy? Water has a potential energy due to its height. Yeah, due to its height. Yeah, potential also means difference. For engineering student and for any students from any field, potential means difference, making a difference. Making a difference. Why do we have this potential of waterfall? Because of the difference in height. Why do we have a potential in moving water, yeah, in a pipe? If you do not have a pump, you can use gravity because of the potential, the difference in pressure. Why do we have heat transfer? Because of potential or difference in heat, temperature between two systems. Yeah, potential also means not only difference but change. Yeah, in culinary. Why can we have good food? Because the difference in temperature. You cook the food through creating a change in what? In temperature. You have a very the art of presenting. Why? You change the carrot from its original shape into something very presentable. Change. Yeah, potential, making a difference, a change are all related. I really hope that today the students are motivated to unleash their potential and do something good. Yeah, inshallah. Once again, I would like to thank all parties who have directly or indirectly involved in the success of this very beneficial program, inshallah. An opportunity to be grabbed exclusively for registered undergraduate students of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Do not miss the chance to get sponsored by UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang to participate in the upcoming Penang International Innovation and Design, PIID 2021. Yeah, competition. There will be a competition, and I hope every KPPs will mobilize the student to come up with a good sort of products for this PID, inshallah. Finally, with the words Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I am pleased to officiate the Technopreneur Creation and Product Idea Innovation Webinar, UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Professional Technologist Dr. Salmiah Kasolang, for the wonderful speech. Now, let's go to our main event. Before I pass this event to our speaker, let me introduce a bit about our speaker, Mohamed Syazwan bin Osman. His experience in work field are 3 years as engineer for research and design. He is a consultant for many companies of innovation, 13 years as a lecturer in UiTM until now in Faculty of Chemical Engineering. And also, some of his achievements are Mr. Syazwan has won 85 medals in innovation competition that have been held in Malaysia and outside Malaysia, such as Korea, Belgium, London, Germany, Thailand, Indonesia, and Romania. He also produced his own product that has been commercialized in our market. Again, a friendly reminder, if you have any question, feel free to put in the live chat. Now, without further ado, my fellow brothers and sisters, please welcome our speaker today, Professor Professional Technology, Mohamed Syazwan bin Osman, to deliver his talk.
Boleh start dulu ya. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very pleasant morning to members of the floor. Thank you so much, Salihah, for a very nice introduction. The Honorable Rector of University Technology Mara Cawangan Pulau Pinang, Professor Technologist Dr. Salmiah Kasolang, the respected Deputy Dean, Deputy Director of Research and Industrial Linkages, Professor Kamis Dr. Norazia Bahari, Dr. Ainul Mahmud, Coordinator of Resource Management Unit RMU, UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang, Dr. Ikmal, the organizing committees, student representative councils of UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let's thank and praise Allah, the Almighty, for His mercy, for His blessing, giving us this golden opportunity to be gathered here in this international webinar on the title Unlocking Students' Innovation Potential. Before we start, I would like to echo the welcoming address from the Rector just now, when she talked about dreams. When I was a teenager like you guys, all the students, my beloved students, I also have a dream. My dream is simple. I already picture it and visualize it in my brain. My dream is I want to change this world. So Alhamdulillah, I purposely designed my career path. I purposely visualize it. Alhamdulillah, looking back at my old previous experience when I was in industry, working as an engineer and going into the academician, Alhamdulillah, a little bit, I managed to realize my dream. So when we talk about innovations, it's about making your dreams a reality. So today, it is my great honor and humble to share with all of you guys, a little bit of how we would like to unlock our potentials, as mentioned by our beloved rector just now. Today's agenda, today I was going to talk about innovation and creativity as the microscopically overview, and I would like to see what are the outlooks of innovativeness skills nowadays. Why is so important? Why is so important to be innovative, especially among the students? Then I'm going to talk about the motivation to innovate. And next is about how to unlock your innovation potential, how to deliberately make a change. And that's one, I would like to introduce you guys, one other platform is the innovation competition. Next, subsequently, I'm going to talk about how we want to develop innovative ideas, which I think is most difficult, the most challenging part of it, and how we're going to develop products, how we're going to develop the new innovative products. Next, we're going to talk about how we want to protect the intellectual properties, because when we have, a product, an idea, a good idea, we need to protect it. So I'm going to share what are the avenues for this intellectual properties, disclosure. And last but not least, I'm going to share with you guys how you want to share your ideas, because if your ideas is kept inside yourself without be sharing, so you can't go to the next level. So I really hope that you guys stay and bear with me throughout this session, and I'm going to be very brief, talking about these topics. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, a bit introduction again about myself. So I was an engineer before I joined UiTM for 3 years in one of the multinational company. And my research interest at the moment is on the nanotechnology, herbal extraction technology, product formulations, and also simulations. These are some of the products that are already being commercialized in the market at the moment that we develop, and we work with various industries as well as government agencies to make it a reality. Last year when we are in the midst of pandemic of COVID-19, we initiate the hand sanitizer initiative outcome, initially as a CSR activities, and eventually it's been commercialized with the signing of MOU and MOA with one industry called Elsohas Malaysia Sdn. So these are the water products. And last time we worked as well with the government agency in Perlis Agriculture Department to develop the innovative products on base of harum manis, mangoes, and Alhamdulillah it's been officially launched by the region of the Perlis. At a glance, since I come from UiTM Pulau Pinang, I would like to promote my organization. So at a glance, UiTM Pulau Pinang has been formed on June 1996 with the modest campus in Permatan Pasir, and we moved to our current campus in Permatan Pau since 2003. And 2011 we have another satellite campus, which is the Pertam campus, accommodate pharmacy students as well as health science students in 2011. In Permatan Pau campus, we have engineering schools. We have all spectrum of engineering, civil engineering, electrical, mechanical, as well as chemical engineering, which I am residing at the moment. Together with the culinary, complemented with the culinary, hotel and tourism management faculty. Ladies and gentlemen, let's begin our journey today with innovation and creativity overview. I would like to start with the course that idea is a thing with feathers. They can fly away as easily as they come, never to revisit you again. I'm sure that all our students, my beloved students, got some good ideas, have some good ideas. But sometimes, if you didn't jot down the ideas, you didn't put it in the proper systematic way to unleash the ideas, then the ideas will go away and will never come back. That's the problem with it. So today, how we want to lock this idea and unleash it to realize the potential, inshallah. Robin Williams, one of the famous actors, always says, once says, no matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world. So in the earlier presentation just now, I mentioned that my dream is one to change the world, and we can change the world with words and ideas. So if you have good ideas, I'm sure all my beloved students have good ideas, and you have a potential to change the world, inshallah. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that one day you might change the world. Ideas are easy. People some say ideas are easy. But the most difficult part, the most challenging part is how to implement it. That would be another challenge that I'm going to highlight in this presentation. Now let's move on. What is innovation? I'm sure some of you guys might aware what is innovation. You might have experience doing innovations activities, but perhaps some of you guys might not aware what is the innovation is all about. So we can divide into three subsets of innovations called creativity, invention, and innovation. So let's begin with creativity. Creativity is the act of turning new and imaginative ideas into reality. So the keyword here is a new and imaginative ideas. So it has to be new, it has to be novel, the creativity. Whereas invention is basically creations of a new idea or concept. So in other words, the ideas that have been developed as creativity being translated into invention, and usually we associate that with the new idea or new concept, a breakthrough, a wow factor, or some kind of that. Innovation, whereas, is turning new concept into commercial or widespread use. Turning a new concept into commercial success or widespread use. So the innovation can be incremental innovation or radical innovation, where we make modification, adjustment, and improvement to enhance the product, to enhance the idea, to enhance the quality of the services. So most of the people will focus on the innovation, because to be inventors, you might need radical ideas, very sophisticated or even never thought of ideas and so on. So now let's move on. As I mentioned just now, invention is creating something new, whereas innovation is placing product or services in a new context to create values. The keyword here is values. So it has to be in cycles. And when we talk about the types of innovation, let's go through specifically on the innovations. We can put it in this spectrum. So we have the existing market, where the new technology, what we call as disruptive innovation. For example, last time like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we have a CRT monitor, and now we already have a flat screen monitor. So it's a disruptive innovation. But if you have a new market with a new technology, it's a very blue ocean. Very blue ocean. This is what we call as breakthrough innovation. Next, if we have a new market, but the existing technologies such as Sky, for example, and this is what we call as disruptive innovation in the existing market technology. And last but not least, the minimal innovation level that we have is what we call as incremental or sustaining innovation, where we make improvement from the existing market and also the existing technology. For example, our pen drive. Okay. Innovation can be classified into a technical-driven or commercial-driven. So if you are coming from the technical-driven, so usually the innovation comes into the process. Innovation comes into the products, the services, performance, and so on. But if you come from the commercial perspective, because I have my own experience also commercializing my products, then we talk about commercial-driven innovations. It has to come from the delivery of the products. How you put the channels, how you market products, how you put the branding, how you associate the customer with the special experience using your products. When innovation also can be included in terms of finance innovations, business models, value networking, and so on. So it has to be a full spectrum from R&D up into the commercial levels. It has to involve multidisciplinary. I think the key was when I go through all this, pathway, I believe that innovation has to go through from the technological aspect as well as commercial aspect. They have to get married together. They have to, to get associated together so that we have a product that can be commercialized, successful product that can be commercialized. We don't have a very good technology, but it cannot be commercialized. It has to be kept in the shelf, for example, in the R&D section and so on. Now, I'm going to talk about what are the examples of the breakthrough innovation harnessing new technology. I'm going to share with you guys 3 examples. Let's begin with iPhone. iPhone is being introduced in 2007 by Apple. So last time, there's a really breakthrough innovations. We talk about the new experience of smartphones, with the features of the camera and so on. We also have a second example, Blippa. Blippa is a startup company developed by Indian guys based in London as well as Bangalore, India. Blippa is an educational platform based on augmented reality. So last time we talked about 2D, now we talk about 3Ds and so on. So it was a wow at the time. And if for the housewife, for example, your mom, your mother, and so on in the home, I think they might appreciate Dyson, with the cordless vacuum cleaner. So there's a breakthrough innovation with their cyclone technology. They're able to suck all the dust and so on, make it very clean, hygiene and some more. In comparison with the what we call free technology in the vacuum cleaner. So these are the examples of the innovation harnessing new technology. We have the second type of innovation where we harnessing a new business model. Maybe they are typical innovation. People can appreciate it, but they apply it in a new business model to create a new market, to create blue ocean. I'm sure that you guys heard about blue ocean, blue ocean strategy, blue ocean market. So we don't want to go to the red ocean market. So I would like to present with you guys, I would like to share with you guys 3 examples. First is, I think famous in UK, what we call a Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club. So basically Dollar Shave Club is for men, all this, your shaver and so on. They offer the subscription fees. They offer even, a kiosk for that. And the second example is Microsoft Office. I think this one, all the students should aware about it. Last time we have Microsoft Office 2009, Microsoft Office 2003. They have been offered, separately. You have Word, you have PowerPoint, Excel separately. Now Microsoft introduced what we call Office 365, where it's come in the package, where you can subscribe monthly or yearly and so on. And now I'm sure the third example that is going to be boom in Malaysia in a short while is the car sharing platform. In Malaysia, we have GoCar. In UK, in Europe, we have Zipcar. So this is car sharing. Last time we have Grab, all this thing. Now we're moving into because statistics. I read statistics in Malaysia right now. 80% of Malaysian who work have car. So now there's a huge market over there. We can create a car sharing market, and now this GoCar is already penetrate into the market to introduce the car sharing platform. It's going to be a boom, inshallah, in the next 2-3 years. So these innovations are the breakthrough innovation in terms of new business model. So they are commercially driven. So just now we talk about technological driven. Now this is commercially driven. So it can be two ways. Innovations. So just now I mentioned about disruptive innovation. One of the key concepts that really boom at the moment is what we call as disruptive innovation. Disruptive innovation is where the problem is not well understood. It's where the new market, people go to the new market, create a new niche, create a dramatic or game-changing, create a customer experience that your customer don't have previously. And the market is so volatile, it's so unpredictable. And this traditional business methods will fail in this disruptive innovation. It's where it's what we call as startups companies and so on. So I would like to share with you guys, if you're going to venture in certain ideas, certain new technology or disruptive technology, I would like to share with you guys 12 disruptive technology that are booming at the moment, especially in the 21st century. And I'm sure you guys might aware, I'm sorry for the image, it's a little bit blurred, but AI is one of them, artificial intelligence. If you are venturing in oil and gas, it's about advanced oil and gas exploration and recovery. Now, I have a discussion with one of the Petronas managers last year. They mentioned right now they are talking about carbon dioxide recovery. Because right now we want to go for a carbon footprint, we want to go for a green technology, all these things. So right now, Petronas venturing into how we want to recover the carbon dioxide. Because when you drill the oils, then this carbon dioxide will be there. So how we want to recover it and harness, the new potential energy and so on. And it goes to the third one is what we call renewable energy. Renewable energy, solar, all those things. Obviously, the next disruptive technology is about internet, of course, IoTs, global blockchain technologies, robotics, all these things, autonomous. From a medical perspective, we're talking about genomics, the next generation genomics. Now we are in the midst of pandemic, COVID-19. The vaccine is going to reach here. So there's new technology of your detections, rapid diagnostic kits, all these things. These are the booming market segments. And last but not least is about the augmented reality, perhaps in the education sector. So we talk about augmented reality. We talk about how we want to give a new experience to the students. Right now, I'm sure you guys, well versed with ODLs, online distance learning and so on. So let's bring up to the next level, augmented reality and so on. So these are the disruptive technologies, being proposed, by the market, by the people who are in the trend right now. Okay. So we can see this segment markets is going to generate, it's been forecasted, going to generate trillions of dollars annually by 2025. Obviously, mobile internet will lead, you guys, I'm sure you guys nowadays, you cannot live with your mobile phone. You cannot live with your smartphone. You need an internet. It's a survival, it's already a survival kit for you. So I'm sure if you've been left in the island, the first thing you are going to locate is your internet connections and so on. So these are, the main things that booming right now, and as I mentioned just now. So disruptive innovation, again, I would like to, give you more clear understanding. What are the examples of disruptive innovation? For examples, last time we had the DSLR camera. I'm sure you guys, if you watch a wedding ceremony, they have DSLR cameras and so on. Now we can get a very good picture. We can get a very good editing movies using by mobile phones, using by all these augmented reality gigs and so on. So these are disruptive innovations. Last time, 5 years ago, we talked about Garmin. We talked about the navigation tracker. Put in the car, if you want, if you lost, you want to go to KL and so on. So we use Garmin. But nowadays, we have Google Maps, we have Waze. These are disruptive innovations. Last time, when I was a student, we used always Encyclopedia Britannica. That's our so-called main references. But nowadays, students always refer to Wikipedia. It's it's a crowdfunding platform for the knowledge sharing and so on. Last time we watched movie in the cinemas. Sometimes we watch movie in the cinema. Nowadays we have Netflix. We don't need to go to the movies. We don't need to go to the cinema. we can just subscribe Netflix, and in your comfort home, you can watch all good movies, all recent movies and so on. So these are the examples of disruptive innovation that appear in the market at the moment that I'm sure in the next 5 years, next 10 years is going to be a lot more of these disruptive innovations. So I would like to open up your mind. My objective is I would like to open up your mind and, to talk about what are the trends nowadays in the world. Now we are the borderless world. I think one thing is good thing about COVID-19 is now we are really into the borderless world. We are really into it. Last time we talk about globalization, but we don't really, anticipate it's going to be this fast. So there's a turning point, with this COVID-19 pandemic. There's a turning point. So we have to take this opportunity and venture into this, section market and so on. So that's about the overview of innovation creativity. So how so far? Is it okay, guys? So, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the second outlook of innovativeness skills. Why this innovative skill is so important? I would like to quote what is the World Economic Forum mentioned. As you know, World Economic Forum, met yearly in Davos, Switzerland, and they identify key capabilities that are becoming most important skills outlook for 2022. So now it's 2021, so next year. So for those who are going to graduate soon, so these are the skills that you need to polish, you need to sharpen your saw, you need to improve it now in university life and get it ready so that when you go as alumni, as graduates, you are ready to venture into this area. So what are the skills? You can see from it, I would like to highlight from these 10 skills that have been highlighted by World Economic Forum, 5 of them are related to innovation. So half of it, 50%. So they are, for example, analytical thinking and innovations. So the company nowadays really need employees who are really analytical thinking, have good analytical thinking, sound very good analytical thinking, and innovative. The company also now want employees to have creativity, originality, and self-initiative. You need to be resourceful, all these things. And of course, the company nowadays need graduates who have good critical thinking analysis, a good thinking process. This has to be developed in the university. When we want to communicate your innovations, so of course, you need to have a good leadership and social influence. Nowadays, Facebook, Instagram, nowadays TikTok, even TikTok. Right now, TikTok is being highlighted as one of the marketing tools for the startup companies in Malaysia. So, social influence is very crucial. If you have a social YouTube channel, please get a lot of people subscribe with your YouTube channels, and inshallah, I think you're going to develop your leadership qualities in that particular perspective. And last but not least, the one of the critical skills that are required for 2022 is what we call as reasoning, problem solving, and ideation. So we must have a good problem solving skills. The company, at the end of the day, you want to solve a problem of your company, you want to give a value to the company. So that is going to be a very crucial skills. So having said that, innovative skills is the foresight skills. It's a futuristic skills. The skills that all students must polish, must improve, in order for you to survive in next, 5 to 10 years. Ladies and gentlemen, and again, in terms of the 16 skills for 21st century, when we're talking about the educational perspective, the competency of 21st centuries, you see at the middle, competency that students should approach complex challenges. It highlights about critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication. If you have a good idea how you want to communicate it, how you want to communicate your project, ideas and so on, and collaboration, networking. That's very crucial. So again, innovation is so important, not just for now, but also for your future. So that I hope I sell you sufficient enough to saying that innovations is a very crucial skills for students. It's a very crucial skills. So how we want to develop that? So that's going to be highlighted in subsequent subtopic. So now let's move on to our motivation. What's the motivation to innovate? What are the internal drivers? What are the external drivers to innovate from this student perspective? This infographic is a study recent in terms of global creativity gap in US, in United States of America. They believe that only 1 in 4, like this one, only 1 in 4 believe that they are living up to their creative potential. So even in US, only 35% of the US citizens saying that they only believe they are living to their creative potential. So there is enormous potential, there are enormous height that we can achieve. We can soar to greater heights. So there's a lot of things we can explore, and we need to explore these creativities and so on. And of course, we talk about creativity. One figure man that associates closely with creativity is Steve Jobs. The CEO and founder of Apple. What he said: innovation distinguish between a leader and a follower. Again, innovation distinguish between a leader and a follower. So if you are innovative, you can go to the next level. You can differentiate yourself to become a leader. So eventually, I always pray to Allah SWT that all my beloved students one day become a leader in your industry, become a leader of your organization, become a leader of your community, become a leader of this nation. So innovation is crucial. Innovation is really essential. It's very vital in order for us to achieve this aim. Steve Jobs again said that innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. So again, as Prof. Rector mentioned just now, we want to create a positive vibes. We want to create, a good, conducive environment. So we have to turn all those problems into opportunity rather than threat. So innovation is closely associated with opportunity. Right opportunity, take your opportunity, and release it. Okay. So when talking about opportunity, mankind, from the initial prehistory, it's already started to create values and make money and create opportunities. So last time, during the prehistoric time, mankind, is a hunter. If you want to survive, you have to be hunter. You hunt for the animals. You hunt for the good, good lamb, good, all these slaughtered animals. And then we move on to become a grower. We grow vegetables and so on. We create opportunity. And then become a warrior. Warrior can plant and grow his food for the king. And we can become a craftsman. We make things and found these 6 warriors who won't get us how to protect your caves, your place and so on. And before the 1880s, mankind start to become explorer. Try to innovate, and they share with merchants. That's why I said, eventually, become innovative, support entrepreneurial. I totally agree with what Prof. Salmiah, Rector or beloved Rector mentioned just now. It has to be aligned. When we become innovators, they have to go to the commercial part of it, become a merchant and so on. When you go to that happened in 1500, after centuries. Then we start to go for the first revolution, mechanizations. First industrial revolution, mechanizations, go to the industrial revolutions, in 70s in US, for example, in Europe, we start making, electric machines. This way, all this, we start to have, Henry Ford, all this thing, create a new car and so on. Start 19th centuries, we become oil drillers, we create opportunity. We found that, oil, we can make money, we have a lot of potential, a lot of opportunities. So mankind, really loyal, we have all these things. And start from 1930s, we call to the recession. At that time, it was global recessions. So the companies start to change from factories into corporations. You have a bigger corporations. and become financier in 1960s. It's been accelerated. It have become financiers. Every time we have, if you want, is symbol. We had to have high-rise towers, all these things in 1960s. And in the 21st century, this is where is your time right now. We go back to what we call as, I would like to stress out this thing, it's what we call as the opportunity comes in terms of startups, founders. So make useful things faster than a corporation, because when you are in corporation, you are dinosaur. You are difficult to change. You start to resist to change. But if you go to the startups, small, medium company enterprises, all these things, then you are lean, you are agile. You can make changes faster. You can drive the new market segment. You can move faster and so on. So that's the sense of opportunity. Make values and make money from that opportunity and so on. Okay. By then, end in mind. So the motivation of innovation is to create value. So Albert Einstein, I think Nobel laureate, 1904, in physics, quoted, try not become man of success, but a man of value. It's very important, man of value. Even though Albert Einstein is Jewish, but also has man of value. Look around and how people want to get more out of life than they put in. A man of value will give more than he receives. So be creative, but make sure that what you create is not a curse for mankind. So we don't want our innovation become, something, deteriorating the humankind quality of life and so on. It became bad thing. Last time I read there's one guy who created lead and been incorporated into fuel. So we have a lead fuel. So it created last time in 1930s and 1940s. We have in the environment a lot of toxic gases and so on, and create a lot of cancers and so on. We don't want to be like that. Okay? We want to be a man of values, create new values. From Islamic perspective, this is aligned with our Prophet Muhammad SAW said, the best of people, peace be upon him, the best of people are those that bring the most benefit to the rest of mankind. So value creation is about giving. It's a soul of innovation creativity. It's about value creation. Create values. So I believe you guys students have opportunity, to create values in your life. Help other people. That will be, the most intrinsic, internal drivers for you to do this, to do innovations. And it has to be reciprocal benefits. Reciprocal benefits, and what you give, you get back. So you give good thing, if you throw mud to the wall, so you get mud back. But if you throw fragrance to the wall, so you get fragrance, you get benefits from that sense. Okay. So that's why I think Prophet Muhammad said it's very, very in line with what we have nowadays is giving values. All these entrepreneurial activities has to be value creation activities and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, so now, just now I mentioned about motivation. So I hope you guys are so eager to start your journey, embark your journey in innovations. And now let's move on to the main part, is how to unlock your innovation potentials, how to deliberately practice innovation. And I would like to propose by using innovation competition, it's it's super good, holistic tools to practice, to unlock your innovation potentials. So that's what people always say, practice make perfect. So it has to come into the habit. So how we can do that? If we go from a scientific perspective, actually neuroscience already studies, how habit. So, in our brain, there's one nerve system, what we call myelin. So neuroscience scientists have shown that if you do things repeatedly in at least 30 days, it's going to be a habit. It's going to be a habit. It's going to program imbued inside your brain and become a habit. So if you do a practice, you want to be innovative, you have to practice. You have to do things repeatedly. Don't get bored. Put a passion on it. And what Aristotle always said, we are what we are repeatedly do. if you are really, repeating it and give your level of love on that particular activities, then inshallah, it's going to be your habit. So neuroscience scientists has proven that if you make things into a habit, it's going to change, permanently inside your brain, how it works and so on. So I really appreciate I really recommend you guys to read about myelination practice. Okay, myelination practice. So these are some of the pictures that my students, do a practice. Basically, they have some restriction, they have some reservation to join the innovation because they say, come on, I just want a routine job. I would just want to go to class, go back home, play games at the hostels, watch movies, and we can go for outing and so on. I just want to be an ordinary person. But my students, some of my students already proven that. They change their habit. They start to go out of their comfort zone and unleash their potentials. And alhamdulillah, they start to reach the benefits and they manage to win some of the competitions. Like for example, these are my students that graduated, I think 1 year ago. They won a competition in Thailand. And one of them, Shifa, right now is in Korea. They call studying for her masters. Been fully sponsored by Korean government. And also some of them are working right now in industry. So this one is last year photo in Thailand as well. We sent quite 6 students or my students compete in the Thailand's Inventors Day, and they won some medals and so on. In the bottom, these are the students accompanied by my colleague, Mr. Jumain, went to Taiwan. All these are sponsored by Halal Pelajar, UiTM Pulau Pinang. I must say thank you so much. Kudos to Dr. Rozaiman and team for really support us and these activities, innovation activities. And this is during the pandemic, COVID-19. 10 of my students, you don't need a lockdown, stay in the lab, develop new formulation of hand sanitizer, and distribute them to the communities, distribute them to the frontliners and so on. So they perform the CSR and at the same time they do some innovation. So all these students, start from zero. What they did they have a internal driver motivation. They get out from their comfort zone and they start doing just as what Nike always said, just do it. Okay. So if they can do it, I'm optimistically sure, 100%, inshallah, you guys can also do it. So that's why innovation, as I would like to quote African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So you have to work in the team. So that's why I mentioned in the previous slide, there are students work in the team. So we get together, because there's power of peers, Usually students, they have their friends to get involved. Usually they will influence their friends, they will influence their colleagues to join as well. So let's go together, everybody. Let's go together, make a positive vibes, make positive changes, go together, improve ourselves. And inshallah, I think all of us can reach the benefits. Not just for you, but also for the nation, for UiTM and so on. So now, to recap what I mentioned previously. So we talk about the creativity, innovation overview. We talk about why it's so important, the skills of innovative, why it's so important to the graduates, why it's so important to students. What are the motivations to innovate? We talk about from the Islamic perspective. We talk about from the commercial perspective. We talk about scientific perspective. And we talk about innovation competition as a tool to unlock your innovation potential. So now we go into deep, how we want to develop innovative ideas for innovative competitions. So this section is talking about developing innovative ideas. So creative process begin with the problem statement. So when we have a problem, only then we can do a research. We have a vision. So that's what our dreams is all about. We do research, get inspiration from others. Sometimes inspiration can come from ourselves, from our own experience, but also can come from other people's experience. So that's why Chinese proverbs say, experience is the best teacher. Okay. Then you start doing the thinking process. That's where the tools such as 4W1H What, where, when, why, and how come into the picture. Do the brainstorming process among your team members. Get the best ideas. There's no such thing as stupid ideas. Everybody should contribute to the ideas. Give your ideas, and then we start to shortlist the ideas and come up with a solution. So these are basically the pathway of the creative process. And if you want to start, I'm sure one of the most challenging part is generating ideas. I think not just students, sometimes lecturers like us also, we are quite blur where to start. So I would like to humbly propose to you guys, if you don't have any idea where to start, where to get good problem statements, you might want to refer to United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals highlighted 17 main issues or problems in this world. So we have, no poverty, zero hunger, talking now about pandemic, the economic downturn and so on. Good health, well-being, of course, this one is about pandemic, the COVID-19. Quality education, ODL, all these things is a very serious issue. Gender equality, diversity, clean water, sanitation, this one about my expert area. Affordable clean energy, decent work, economic growth, and so on, so forth. So there are 17 goals that United Nations highlighted, and Malaysia is one of the signatories inside this UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we need to achieve by 2030. So for a start, I think if you have, we start where I want to start, generating ideas, perhaps you might want to look at it, these Sustainable Development Goals, and choose and pick one or two that close to your heart, and you start venture into the area. You start venture into the area and start to do the brainstorming and so on. And at the end of the day, it's about value creations. Okay? So how to get inspired and have a killer ideas without trying. Okay, without trying. So it sounds like effortless. So this is from my own experience. I put it into 3. So how I generate ideas, I look at from the three tools. I use first and foremost observations. Human being has been blessed by Allah SWT with the senses. We have 5 senses. We have touch sensor, eye, hearings, and so on and so forth. So observation is a very good tool to generate new ideas. You have to, from your observation, for example, you have to observe from your heart, not observe from your eyes. Observe from your heart. When let's say you go to surround your neighborhood, surround your schools and so on. You observe what are the things happening. What are the things, the problem that, for example, waste, for example, social issues and so on. You start to sense, and when you start to sense, you go to the next level. It's what we call as curiosity. Curiosity. This is where your akal, that's your brain start to use. It's where your knowledge is coming to the picture. So you start curious. How? Why? All these things. 4W1H. What? Where? And so on. So curiosity, when you observe, then you start to trigger your curiosity. You use your brain, your akal, you use your knowledge, your empirical knowledge, your knowledge that you learned so far, and you try to correlate all these things. And lastly, the last key that very crucial for me, in order for you to generate new ideas, is writing skills. Ataupun kalam. Writing skills. You need to jot down. That's why I mentioned in the first slide, initially, ideas can fly away like feathers. So ideas, it's going, definitely, I can assure you, it's going to fly away unless you jot down, you write it. Nowadays there are a lot of tools, in the internet, how to jot down without using your pen. For example, I would like to recommend, you can use voice note. You can use voice note. If you have good ideas while driving, sometimes the ideas come so spontaneously. Let's say you're driving, you get some ideas, you take out your mobile phone, put up your voice note applications, and you just speak out. My good ideas, my inspiration is I want to do this. I saw some good things, at the traffic jam and so on. So I found out this is very interesting things. Put in voice note is going to translate it into words, into text. So that text can be saved as a notepad and so on. So afterwards, if you have free time, you can take up back these notes and work out on the idea. So writing skill is basically, is very crucial. So that's why, the first verses of Quran is talking about kalam, ikra, and so on. Read and write in the name of God. Okay. So these three tools is crucial, very important for you to generate ideas, okay, generate new ideas. Okay, just now I mentioned about the creative process, which I don't want to highlight it more again. So what are the ways to stay creative? So there are a lot of ways, but I would like to highlight some of them. First is the number 11, what I call as surround yourself with creative people. So environment for me is very crucial because I know that Gen Y students, they are obviously easily influenced by others. You know, you guys are Gen Y students, Gen Z students are easily influenced by others. Sometimes you believe what your colleagues say, your peers say, rather than your parents, you know, sometimes. So, I don't know. So, surround yourself with the creative people, surround yourself with the good vibes people, you know, all these things. Only then you can be a creative person. And 13, I want to highlight is the collaborations, networking. Here, you have to work in a team. You know, you want to be creative, you have to work in a team. You cannot work silo. You work silo, you only have one mind. That's why people always say, 2 heads better than 1. You know, you have to collaborate, you have to network with others, work with people, let's say we have civil engineering, work with people from mechanical engineering, work with people with electrical engineering, work with the cross-discipline, you know, all these things, collaborate and so on. And last but not least, have fun, you know, have fun. This have to be enjoyed, you know, have to put a passion inside it. Enjoy your process, enjoy your creative sessions and so on. Only then, when you have a passion, you are going to give 150% to whatever that you're going to do. So it's a labor of love, you know, you don't mind to sacrifice, you don't mind to do that, all those things. That's why I train my students last time. Another way, another tool, how we can generate innovative ideas, for those, you know, quickly can use what we call Google Patterns. Google Patterns is very, I think for me personally, it's very powerful to look at it, you know, to have a glance through what are the recent innovation, recent patterns that have been filed, which later I'm going to talk about how to protect your intellectual properties. So if you just simply type the Google Patterns, and then you can search whatever area that you are interested in, you're going to come up with a list of innovative ideas that already been patented. So you can work from there. You can work from there, do implement, and so on. So innovation is about creating opportunity. So it has to come from inside sources or outside sources. It can be unexpected, it can be incongruent. Okay, it has to be process-based innovation. It can also be changed in terms of structure of industry as well as market. Outside sources in terms of demographics. You know, Asian people will have different interests compared to European people. American people will have different behavior compared to African people and so on. Change in perception, mood and meaning. And last but not least, new knowledge, both scientific as well as non-scientific. So how is it so far? I hope you guys still stay awake. Now, once we get an idea, how we want to develop, how we want to improve the product, how we want to, you know, enhance the product and so on. So I would like to quote what Joseph and Juran and Steve Jobs mentioned. First thing first from Joseph Juran. He said, quality planning consists of developing products and process required to meet customer needs. Okay? The same thing, the same message been profoundly told by Steve Jobs. You got to start with your customer experience and work back toward the technology, not the other way around. So it has to be customer experience, customer needs. So in other words, if you want to develop a product, you need to highlight first what would be your potential customer. What would be your potential customer needs? What are their experience that they want in your product? Only then you tailor-made with your technology. That is the shortcut way how you want to make a product can be commercialized. From my own experience, that is the shortcut way. So if you start from R&D, doing something that you are really like of it, then you start to develop. Only then when you put out one product in the market, you find it nobody wants your technology, so it's going to be waste. So why not? You start from the industry perspective, you go to your customer need, potential customer, market segment and so on. Then you bring out all the requirements and put that into the technology that can suit that can address those requirements. That will be, I think that will be the ultimate aim. Okay? And once we fulfill that requirements, then the next thing is what we call, as Rolf Emerson mentioned, and also Buckminster Fuller mentioned, is about experiment. All life is experiment. The more experiment you make, the better. You need to do some legwork. You need to do some improvement, There's no such thing as a failed experiment. Only experiments with unexpected outcomes. So that's what Fuller mentioned, scientists. So you need to work, prove it and validate it. So once you have problem statement, you have an idea, you know your customer requirement needs, then of course you need to validate it, you need to prove it. So how to prove it? How to validate it? So there are tools, some of tools that I would like to share with you guys today. So tools of innovative product development. First, I would like to highlight, I would like to share with you guys what we call as design thinking. Design thinking has been developed in the US. So it's based on the customer requirements, needs. It has 5 stages. First is empathize. Empathize means customer needs. You need to get your customer needs. So interviewing, shadowing, seek to understand, non-judgmentals, and so on. Only then you start to define what are from the customer requirement, what are the personas, what are the objectives, decisions, challenges from the technological perspective, and so on. Pain points, what are the difficult things. And then you start to do ideations, ideas, share ideas, diverge, converge the ideas, brainstorm the ideas, choose which one is the best ideas, prioritize the ideas, and so on. Then the 4th stage is what we call a prototype, making a prototype. You can do mock-ups, you can do storyboards, concept planning, and so on. Keep it simple, and so on. Make a test, doing testings, understand the impediments, what works, what plays, and so on. And then this process has to be iterations. It has to be in cycles. Then you come back to the customer needs, get their needs, get their feedbacks, and then do some improvement. And so until it's ready, the prototype is ready, and so on. So the design thinking is integrate business, technology, and people. So there are 4 questions that need to address in design thinking. What is? Okay, what is? What if? Then this is brainstorm stage. Now, what wows? What are the wow factor? What are the things that you're going to do? So this, you have to do rapid prototyping, assumption testing, and so on. And what works? Then the last stage, what works? What works? Then you come back to the customer, get the feedbacks, and improve from there. So you start to, your learning curve is going to start to going to be steep and trajectory upwards. The second tools that I would like to share with you guys is come from Russia. What we call as trees. Trees, or in Russian, I don't know how to spell it. It's a theory of resolution of invention-related tasks. I learned this one when I was an engineer last time. I attended training. So it's a problem-solving analysis and forecasting tool derived from a study of patterns or invention in global pattern literature. So believe it or not, we can generalize all the solutions in this world into several patterns, several groups, subsets. So trees is doing that. So you try to generalize the problems and then generalize the solution, and then only then you go to a specific solution with a specific problem. So it has a problem solutions, analysis, creativity, systems, evolution, and innovations. So basically, as I mentioned just now, trees, we identify general problems, identify the general solutions. Only then you can tailor-make what your specific solutions. So this figure is quite small, but I just want to highlight 40 principles. Actually, we can generalize, as I mentioned just now, we can generalize the solution of innovation, especially for engineering solutions, into 40 principles of trees. So, for example, we can do division, taking out, local quality, change the parts, and so on. That is also part of innovations and so on. Merging and others and so forth. So, we can, let's say we have an idea, we can try to refer to these tools and look at it, which solution that might suit to these particular problems, and try to do the correction, do the corrective actions, make your prototyping and get feedback from your potential customers and so on. So from commercial way, that is from the technological driven. So from the business driven, commercial way of product development, so we can have, for example, you have a customer that comes to you and say, I have some problems, I want to develop this product and so on. So we can do idea generation, idea screening, concept development, present to them, get the ideas, and then see the business model, business strategy development, do product development, do the test, marketing test, and lastly is commercialization. So we can always go from the commercial perspective. But I'm sure in the perspective of student, it's quite seldom you guys are going to encounter this particular model. We can also use business model canvas. I'm sure you learn in technopreneur subject, about business model canvas. So this is also another what we call potential tools that can be used to generate, to do the product developments of your innovative ideas. So this is some of the activities in my lab. With my students, we do some hand sanitizer activities. So we do product development in the lab. We do testing, we get feedback from our customers, and we do improvement. And if you believe me, we did 29 times reformulation, 29 times, before we get our final formulation. So it's a repetitive process. It's a challenging process. It's not easy, but if you have a passion, you put a sacrifice, then it's going to be successful eventually. So what Steve Jobs, again, I like Steve Jobs, so I always quote from him. People think focus means saying yes to the thing that you got to focus on, but that's not what it means at all. It means saying no. Saying no to the hundreds of other good ideas. So we need to prioritize. Eventually, we need to prioritize what are the good ideas and move on to that particular ideas. Do the prototyping and so on. So, ladies and gentlemen, we already learned just now about the product development. I already shared generally, briefly, how product development being used, what are the tools being used, and so on. Now, when you have good ideas, one of the crucial things that you might overlook is how to protect your intellectual properties. So, good ideas is your it's a model. It's basically the ideas is your valuable items that you might want to protect. So how to protect intellectual properties? From Malaysian perspective, the government agency that is responsible for the intellectual properties is what we call MyIPO. MyIPO stands for Intellectual Property Corporation of Malaysia, or Perbadanan Harta Intelek Malaysia. So you can always browse through this website, www.myipo.gov.my. So you can find a lot of information about the intellectual properties, protection, and so on. So why is so crucial, So MyIPO basically is help to strengthen the intellectual properties law and providing advisory services on the intellectual properties and promoting public awareness programs on the importance of the intellectual properties. So this, we want to establish a strong and effective administration of intellectual properties in this country. So what kind of intellectual properties that we can protect? So I'm sure you guys recently read from the news about harimau menangis, right? Somebody, some entrepreneur tried to attempt to trademark the harimau menangis words, as their trademarks. But eventually, MyIPO come out with a statement that they are still in evaluation, and eventually the company retract, the entrepreneur retract the application. So in Malaysia, we usually can protect what we call as trademarks. Trademarks is something that represent you. It can be your name. For example, if you want to trademark my name, let's say Syazwan, you want to trademark my name, it can be done. You want to trademark logo, you want to trademark, some commercial entity that you might want to think that it has some commercial values. So we can always trademark it, in the MyIPO. If it's an engineering solution, let's say it's an innovation solutions, so usually we patent it. Okay, patent. So patent is what you call as 20 years protections of your patents. So disclose the information to the Intellectual Property Office. and then claims that is your innovations. So other people cannot infringe your innovations. Next is copyright. Copyright usually for literature works. For example, your music. Let's say you come up with your own songs, you can copyright it. Or books, you write something, good poem or good books, you can copyright it. Okay, or good posters, you can copyright it. And then industrial design. For example, you are working in industry, you can protect your design, your example mechanical design and so on. You can protect that. Geographical indication, this one is usually associated with the geographical location. For example, in Malaysia, we have harum manis mangoes. Harum manis mango is been registered as geographical indication for Perlis. It can be used by Perlis. Another thing is halia bentong. Halia bentong is been registered as a geographical indication that the ginger that been planted in Bentong, Pahang. Another thing is what you call as black pepper, Sarawak black pepper. Sarawak black pepper, we also been registered as a geographical indication for the black pepper originated from Sarawak. Last but not least, we can also register for this one, electrical guys, electronic industries, semiconductor industries. You can register your integrated circuit layout designs. You do some designs, electric IC design and so on. You can register that. You can, protect. And another thing is, I would like to highlight another thing that which I can also do, which I did last time for my hand sanitizer. It's what called as trade secret. Trade secret. For example, you never know what are the recipe of KFC. You never know what are the recipe of McDonald's. It's not been disclosed in patent. It's not been disclosed in any disclosure evidence. But it's been registered as trade secrets. Trade secrets. So anything valuable, keep secrets. So only those who have interest on that particular area, which is, for example, the formulator and so on, can get access to that particular trade secrets. And usually you have to sign what we call as NDA, non-disclosure agreements. NDA, non-disclosure agreements. So this NDA, only you sign that NDA, only then you can get access to that particular trade secrets. So like myself, I register my hand sanitizer formulation as a trade secret with UiTM. So these are some of the flow procedures, how to do patent and trademarks and also copyright in the subsequent slide. I don't want to go too quickly, and perhaps you would like to, later you would like to share. Basically, you can do an application filing. For example, patent application filing, 290 ringgit for Form 1. And then after the extensive examination, then you can get a certificate of grant patent, patent grant. So usually if you apply patent, the filing number will start with PI 2021, blah, blah, blah. So after 2 or 3 years, after substantive examination, whereby they check throughout the world, there's no such thing, similar patent, then they will register this is your patent, it's very called as patent granted. After 2 or 3 years, so then we should be patent grant issued. For example, in Malaysia, your grant patent will start with MY 2021, blah blah blah. So that means that patent is already been gazetted. It's already been granted. Okay. Trademark wise, this one famous right now because of Harimau Menangis. So you can trademark your name, no problem. Just prepare the money. Okay, you can fill up the form TN5, pay the 370 ringgit processing fee to the My IPO, and then after I think 6 months to 1 year, if I'm not mistaken, 12 months, 1 year, they will search and then they will gazette your trademarks. You can put R or TM at the back of your logo or names. Okay. Copyright is simple. You just need to fill up the CR1 form, do the statutory declaration with the Commissioner of Oaths. Just pay 10 ringgit only, and then of course a copy of work, your literature work, poster whatsoever, and then pay a fee around 25 ringgit if I'm not mistaken. Then you can get your copyright the same day. Okay, and after 6 or 7 months, they will send the original certificates. However, in UiTM's perspective, the authorized department for intellectual property protection is what we call as BCom. So I would like to urge all the students and also the staffs who listen to this webinar, if from UiTM, if you want to protect your IP in UiTM, you need to liaise with BCom, Business Innovation and Technology Commercialization. They are the authorized department for the intellectual property. So right now, I think the head of IP is Puan Fariza. And BCom also deal with the commercialization. For example, this is what last year, our achievement, we commercialized the hand sanitizer with the Al-Suhas Malaysia member last June. So we signed the licensing agreement, the MOA, to commercialize. It's already been marketed in the market at the moment. So we go through via BCom. So we do some legal checking, all those things, some procedural activities. Okay. So just now I highlighted about the intellectual properties. Why we need to protect it? We don't want people to shadow or to copy your ideas and so on. So protect your IPs. Okay. Because in the university perspective, your IP is your values. Your values that you need to protect. Okay. Last but not least, my last subtopic is what we call sharing your ideas. So once we have products, once we have the innovations, ideas translated into products, so how to share the ideas? So I would like to share a little bit about the innovation presentation, especially in the innovation competition, particularly for the students. So in terms of PowerPoint, videos, and oral presentations. So before start, let me motivate you guys in with the quotes saying, allow yourself to be a beginner. No one starts off being excellent. So even me myself, when I started my journey in innovation, I started as a beginner. So, no one starts as being excellent. You think you have to give your chance to learn. You give your chance to learn, and to improve yourself and so on. And again, don't wait for opportunity. Create it. If the door is not there, build a door and knock it. Create an opportunity. Volunteer yourself. Talk to your supervisors. Talk to your lecturers. Talk to your ACP, Alim Pelajar. Talk to your management of your university and so on. I want to do innovation. I want to have this good idea, and hopefully, I'm sure that they are going to listen to you. Create opportunities and so on. So in typical innovation presentation, in order for you to have a successful innovation competition presentation, there are three elements that are very crucial. First is poster. Second is, of course, the product that you innovate. And last but not least is presentation. So that's why I say, innovation is it's a holistic tools, holistic tools to polish your presentation, to polish your innovation skills, polish your creativity skills through posters, and so on. So talk about effective posters. I'm sure if you are given a chance to choose between A and B, which poster is more attractive to you, I'm sure you're going to choose B. Because there's an infographic, less words, and so on. The colors, and so on. So these are the normal, typical human being. Human beings are not monotonous in nature. We like, colorful. We like, different tones and so on. So we have to feed our brain with something that our brain likes it. So that's why we need to have a very effective posters. So usually, what are tools that you can use typically to create posters? There are a lot of tools inside, online, like such as Canva, PhotoChat, and so on. So usually, from my own experience, my student experience, we use Photoshop, we use Canva, we use PowerPoint. Like myself, I'm an old school guy, so I always use PowerPoint. But you might surprise, even when I use PowerPoint, the quality of my poster is like a Photoshop poster, So you can use, whatever tools that your convenience to create your own posters. So what are the elements in innovation posters? What are crucial elements? There are 5 crucial elements in innovation posters. First is problem statement. But problems that, you encounter and you would like to solve. And then novelty is the uniqueness. Novelty, what are the uniqueness of your solutions? What are the features, advantages, okay, of your solutions? Okay, features, advantages, and then a little bit of methods. It can be a brief method. You don't want to disclose much. And last but not least is commercial benefits. Commercial benefits, So what are the commercial benefits of your innovations? So these are the main elements in poster. You can always add other elements that you think that necessary. You can always add that. Okay, this example of the poster that my students last time worked it out using PowerPoint. So this is infographic style of poster. So this is serum, hand sanitizer serum. I think they presented in Thailand, if I'm not mistaken. So they put out problem statement. They put up in terms of infographics, statistics, and so on. They put up some methodologies, brief methodologies. What are the results? What are the results of the innovations to prove the features and so on? Okay, novelty. What are the the distinct features of these innovations? And last but not least, market potentials, where we want to market these products and so on. So we can always put it in the poster, make it easy, pleasing to your eyes. You can design, for example, this product. This been in-house designed by our students using Photoshop and so on. They create the mock-up of product, make it a real one. They print the packaging, do the studio photography, take a photo of it, and put up in the poster. So they make an effort. And then eventually they got a very good quality. I think, if I'm not mistaken, this product won gold medal and a special award medals in Thailand innovations. Okay, and in Malaysia we won best of the best. Okay, for this particular innovation. So these are example of the interactive, eye-catching, and also have a wow factor of the posters elements. Okay. Now we move on to the presentation. So just now we talked about the posters, the first element of the posters. Of course, the product we talked about previously as well. So now we talk about the presentation. So presentation, yes, Grant has said, if you start with a bang, you won't end with a whimper. If you start with a bang, you won't end with a whimper. So if you want to do a presentation, I learned this what I call a 7-second rules from Senior Ammar Muhammad Rashid, CEO AMR Environmental Research and Berhad, located in Seremban, one friend of mine. He mentioned about in his talk to our UiTM students, 7 seconds rules. If you can do something in 7 seconds to impress your audience, then you're going to be partially win your presentation. So if you give something very good at the beginning of the presentation, then your audience will interact, will be attractive to your presentation. So what are the tools that we can use to start your presentation with a bang? So first we can create a joke, some humorous. If you are humorous in nature, you create a joke. It can be better still, it can be English joke, or at least, Malay, your first language joke. Secondly, you can do anecdote story. For example, you want to recall back your previous experience when you were kids. For example, you say during my kids, I saw this one and so on. So you brag, you're mesmerizing your own previous experience to the audience or judge. And then you can also start your presentation with a question. For example, did you know that 80% of people have a skin problem? So you start with the questions, and our statistics or facts. Or another question, let's say, for example, sir, do you have some experience doing vacuum cleaning at home? For example. So that will be a question to the judge or audience. So it gives some two-way communication and attract your audience to your presentation. So it's good to have this kind of bang beginning of presentation, at the beginning of your presentation. So the tools of presentation, of course, practice make perfect. You need to practice. Even myself, I already do a lot of presentation in front of various level of people. I still practice myself. I still practice in front of mirror. I still practice. Even though today I still practice before I come to this webinar. I still practice it. To get a rhythm, to get a feeling, to get a confidence. That's the most thing. Get a confidence. You can also introduce yourself in your presentation, and the most importantly, let's say you have a face-to-face presentation, it's eye contact. So your eye contact has to be aligned with your audience, with your judges. You need to have this eye contact. And you can use the props, the products, use your products to show, to give the senses for experience to the judges or audience, and ask questions, ask questions, make it two-way communication, between the judges or audience with our presenter. So body language is very crucial in terms of face-to-face presentation. So you need to use your gesture very well. You need to smile, keep your calm authority. You give put a very positive gesture in your presentation, positive vibes and so on, so that stand still, stand straight. Open up your body so that your diaphragm can put up, or your voice projection is very loud and clear. And you can give the best in terms of voice projections. So body language is very crucial for your face-to-face presentation. But however, nowadays in this pandemic COVID-19, we still have to do presentations. But of course, in terms of online presentation, I would like to share my own experience. Last year, I sent my students for innovation competition in 4 countries. That's a good thing when we have an online presentation. We don't need to go to the country to attend the competition. So last year we managed to participate in competition in Poland, the Robert Lewandowski place. We managed to go to Croatia. We participated in Croatia competition. We participated in Indonesia competition, and also last but not least in Taiwan. So of course we don't have a chance due to pandemic COVID-19. We cannot go to that particular countries. So we did online presentation. So my students did online presentation. So what are the tips and tricks to do effective online presentation? So I would like to share 5 tips to give a convincing presentation. It has to be persuasive. So when you talk about innovation competition, the mode of presentation has to be persuasive. You have to persuade. You have to persuade your audience, your judges. So, for example, the first tip I would like to highlight is think about your environment. Okay. For example, you have to make sure your mic works well, your mic functions well. Like in this case, in this program webinar, I come early, 1 hour early, and try to check, do the sound check, do the camera check, do the lighting check, so that everything goes smoothly. Stand up. It is advisable if you want to gain more confidence, you stand up in your presentation. Adjust your laptop level align with the eye level. So you stand up, give your presentation, so the judges can see your body language, your eyes, your hand movement, and so on. And of course, you need to rehearse. You do practice on. Especially when you're talking about online presentation, technical glitch is always an issue. So make sure that you do rehearsals. Do rehearsals. For advice is dress to impress. Like today, I wear I wear full suits, even though I can have a luxury to wear a kain plakat or whatever, or t-shirt, but I wear full dress, with ties and blazer and so on. So impress, so that I'm going to give a confidence to you guys that I have an authority to talk about this topic. And last but not least, think about your supporting materials. What are supporting materials you want to show? For example, you want to show your products. You want to show let's say you want to highlight your point using a pen. So you can use the S pen or whatever. So prepare in advance your supporting materials. So now I just want to give a bonus tips how to attract your innovation competition judges based on my own experience. So it's not available in any textbook. It's not available in any literature. It's all based on my experience. So this photo was my real presentation in Belgium. This is judges. It's a Belgian guy. I did a presentation with my student in Belgium. I think around 2014. Alhamdulillah, we managed to win gold. We managed to win gold in this particular innovation competition. We call Eureka in Brussels, Belgium. So just nearby to the hall is the stadium, King Bedouin Stadium. For those who are interested in football, Belgium for national team always play there. So in fact, when we was there in Belgium, Belgium play with Ireland the following days. So we saw in the streets a lot of people, try to celebrate and so on. So tip and tricks to win your judges' heart. So first thing first, I would like to highlight do icebreaker. Okay, do icebreaker. So how to do icebreaker? Okay, initially, if let's say you have a judge approaching you, you say hello, Assalamualaikum, good day, sir. You might want to ask, should I call the professor or sir or whatever? So that we don't want to, in Malaysia, we don't want to wrongly salute people. So, and then once that, we get some ice-breaking, question and so on. So that we know that he is on the same page with us, same wavelength with us. For example, we can ask question about, let's say we do innovation product on, let's say, for example, mobile phone. So you ask the judge, sir, do you have any experience using your mobile phones? So I'm sure he is going to say something. So that gives you some idea where the knowledge understanding of the judges on that particular products. And then the second tips is to tune the presentation accordingly. For example, if your judge come from same background or same discipline with you, you might want to adjust your presentation more technical compared to, for example, you have a judge from different background or different discipline. For example, let's say you are from engineering, your judge from hotel, culinary. So you don't want to put up with jargon, engineering jargon or technical terms to him or her because she's not going to understand it. So you have to, adjust accordingly the level of presentation to suit your judge or audience. And you need to control the emotion of judges by being humble and be confident with yourself because judges is human being after all. So we need to treat them with respect. We need to treat them with humbleness, be confident with yourself, but same time humble. And answer the question concise and precise. Okay? So you have to answer the question precise and concise. So let's say the judges ask A, you answer just A. You don't answer A, B, C, D, and Z because you're going to direct the presentation and make the judge become bored. If you can't answer intelligently, answer I don't know. So let's say the judges ask you a question that you cannot answer. You cannot simply say I don't know. You have to intelligently say I don't know. For example, let's say I've been asked a question by the judge and I don't know the answer. So how I could address the judge, I will say something like this. Thank you, sir, for very wonderful questions. In fact, I never thought about this question previously. So it's okay. I will take your comment and constructive feedbacks and improve my innovation for the next future competition. Say, you politely and humbly, first you praise the judge. You say this is a very good question, and you take it as a compliment to your product innovation, and you have some initiative. You want to improve your product, and you'll say you'll improve later. So that's, I think, intelligently how we can say I don't know, instead of saying blindly I don't know. And judge, after all, is a human being, so we need to treat with respect. It's very crucial, and present as good as possible to your audience as if they are judge. Sometimes we have a double standard. If you're in front of judge, you will present very professional, very diligent, and so on. But then, if you have an audience come to your booth, for example, a school student and so on, you will, lay back. You give a very, unprofessional presentation and so on. So you have to be professional. You have to address your audience same like your judges. give your best and best that you can in your ability to present the shared knowledge. After all, this innovation competition is about sharing the knowledge, sharing the innovation. So that I want to quote the president of Innovation Association of Belgium. I forgot his name, and he addressed the closing ceremony of the competition in Brussels. He said, innovation must be shared. Innovation must be shared. So we have to put a niyat in ourselves. We want to share knowledge so that it can become ibadah for us, to gain barakah from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and and in the hope that the audience can learn something new and then apply. So it will be a chain of good deeds, among the. I always believe that if all people in this country have this kind of attitude and mentality, I think this nation will go far. We go far, inshallah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's about the tips of how to attract the judges. So again, every successful presentation is built on 4 pillars: people, idea, patient, and preparation. So you need a people to present, you need an idea, a good idea, you need a patient, you need to give everything that you have into the presentation, and you need to do a preparation. You need to practice. You need to do a practice because practice makes perfect. Steve Jobs again said, people who know what they are talking about don't need PowerPoint. So it's impolitely saying that if you are good in your subject matter, if you are good in what you are going to say, then you don't need the supporting tools. You can just deliver it, then deliver it convincingly to your audience. Success is no accident. It is hard work. Okay, I always say that to my students. Success is not a shortcut. You have to go with your sacrifice. You need to grading. You need to really put an effort, perseverance, and so on. Learn, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love what you are doing or learning to do. That is very crucial. For me personally, if you love your job, if you're passionate about your job, you're going to give more than 100% to whatever that you do. You are going to be very passionate. You're going to sacrifice everything, And Jonathan Hampton, an Olympian, said, it's not about winning or losing a competition. It's about beating the doubt from within yourself and knowing at the end of each day, you are one step closer to your dream. So as I always say to my students, if you're entering an innovation competition, don't aim getting a gold medal as your main motivation. Aim, you want to improve yourself. Because if you aim, you want to get a gold medal, let's say you don't get a gold medal, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be very, feel demotivated and so on. But if you said to yourself, my driver, in order for me to join, to participate in innovation competition, is to improve myself, knowing that one day or sooner, I'm going to be a better person. So that would be the most beneficial drivers, internal drivers for yourself. So it's not about winning or losing competition. In fact, even myself, even though I already joined a lot of competition, I don't want to put myself unnecessary pressure to win something. It's okay. If you don't win, that's risky from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. But at least I learned something new. I improve myself to become a better person. So that would be your motivation or your aims. Satisfaction lies in the effort, not in the attainment. Full effort is a full victory. Mahatma Gandhi said, you need to put satisfaction is so you put your 100% effort. You're going to feel that you don't feel that you regret whatever that you have done, because you think that you already give your 100% best. Then you should be fine. You should be fine. Because for me personally, satisfaction is a process. It's a process. You need to put an effort, give the best in your ability, and the rest, whatever the achievement that you gain, is a bonus. It's a bonus for you. So I hope you enjoy this short webinar. And I hope you learn something new. And I'm excited to learn any feedback, constructive feedback from you guys. So before I end, I would like to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're going to have all my beloved students will be successful in this innovation journey. So hopefully one day I see you holding a medal, holding a certificate, winning a competition in any competition locally or internationally. If let's say you want to feedback me something, you can contact me through email or through my mobile phone. So I hope you enjoy this short webinar. So I hope you gain something new, and I hope that I gave you a positive vibes. So catch your dreams, fulfill your ambitions, and hope to see you again inshallah. With that, thank you so much. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I pass back to the moderator. Sorry, thank you.
Thank you, Professional Technologist Mohamed Syazwan bin Osman, for the very nice sharing. I hope everyone able to gain the benefit from it. Before we go to question and answer, I would like to share some information to all audience, especially for UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang students. The Research Management Unit RMU will sponsor 4 teams to join the Penang International Invention, Innovation and Design 2021 that will held on 10 until 11 March 2021. The criteria and deadline for the competition can see in our screen now. For the next session, question and answer, this question is come from our audience in YouTube, also in Facebook Live. And first question is come from Nuha Sharifuddin from UiTM Permatang Pau. The question is, in your opinion, if one innovation is sustained when it used, but during the process to innovate does not sustainable at all?
Sorry, can you repeat again the question?
First question is come from Nuha Sharifuddin from UiTM Permatang Pau. The question is, in your opinion, if one innovation is sustained when it used, but during the process to innovate does not sustainable at all?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. I think very good question, in fact, from Nuha, when I was saying Nuha, regarding the sustainability. Okay, we have to understand the concept of sustainability. We're talking about sustainability. It has to be cycles in the loop. It has to be sustainable, not just the output in terms of product, but also in terms of the resources, the raw materials, the processes to fabricate it, the waste that have been generated from the process and so on. So having said that, if you want to claim that innovation is sustainable, you have to really consider in depth the whole ecosystem of your innovation has to be sustainable as well. So I would like to strongly recommend you to read some of the literatures regarding the sustainable development in terms of the element that involve in sustainable, so that we can incorporate that sustainable elements inside our innovation. For example, in my area, in my field, chemistry, chemical engineering, we have a principle of 12 principles of green chemistry. 12 principles of green chemistry. So usually, for example, among the principles, we cannot use toxic solvents in our process. So that pertaining the what you call as the resources element, the raw materials. You have to make sure that if you want to claim your product is sustainable, you have to make sure that the material that you use is sustainable as well. It's non-toxic. So you might want to evaluate on that particular area. So having said that, I'm not sure Nuha from which discipline. My humble 2 cents, I would like to encourage you to read some literatures in the internet and the knowledge domain, journals and whatsoever, in terms of sustainable. What are the sustainable elements that related to your area? So once you define that sustainable elements, and only then it's a good tool, sustainability is a good tool to incorporate that to your product, to innovation, so that it can add values. So at the end of the day, it's about creation of values creation. So you want to highlight that sustainability as your values in your product. So you have to make sure that it has to be in a loop, it has to be in a loop. It has to be a cycle, not just from the product, but also in terms of resources, the raw materials, the processes, the methodology, also the waste that generated from that particular processes. So I hope I answer your questions loud and clear. Thank you so much for this very wonderful question.
Okay, the second question is come from Irfanuddin Nur Anwar. The question is, in your opinion, what's the greatest innovation in history?
Okay, thank you so much, Irfan, for I think super tough question. Super tough question. It's quite difficult to answer it, explicitly. Well, I think for me personally, because you cannot judge innovation apple to apple, because each innovation has their own traits, has their own characteristics, has their own behavior and impact. But for me, personally, if you want to judge or if you want to put in terms of the index or indicator to gauge this innovation, whether it's significantly change the world or not, it has to be in terms of impact. What are the impacts of that particular innovation? For examples, let's say in terms of smartphone. I think smartphone personally, for me, is very impactful innovations. Last time when I was in the university, we still don't have smartphone. In the early 2000, we don't have smartphone in the market. Only then we start introduced with the smartphone. I think at that moment, we don't really believe that smartphone is going to be a game changer in this world. But now in 2020 and above, we start to see that, wow, smartphone is a game changer in the world. So for me, we cannot compare apple to apple because each generation have their own needs in terms of technological needs as well as the commercial needs. So perhaps maybe last time when the early industrial revolution, people talking about cars is something breakthrough at that point. Henry Ford, when he start to come up with a car, his sport car. So by that time, this considered innovations, breakthrough innovation. For example, the Wright brothers come up with the aeroplanes innovation. So at that point, that is breakthrough. But of course, at that point, the generation at that point values that it's a significant breakthrough. So it depends. For me, it's subjective. You cannot compare from generation to generation. But in terms of generation per se, intra-generation, we can gauge the level of innovation in terms of impact. How much the impact those innovations gives to the society. Of course, we want to value in terms of positive impact, of course. So positive impact, the higher the positive impact gives to that particular innovation, so we usually rate that as the significant breakthrough innovation. So innovation is a process, it's a continuous process. It has to be, we have to improve from time to time. That's why the terms of research comes from the two words, re and search. Re means repetitive, redo, repetitive. Search is finding new things. So it has to be continuous effort. So that's why in Islam, we always said about what we call continuous improvement, tajdid, pembaharuan, giving a new improvement, because different generations have different needs and requirements. So we have to suit to that particular needs and requirement. So to answer again your question, it's quite subjective, which innovation is the greatest. It has to be judged by in terms of generation, requirement, needs, and generation gaps and requirements. So hope I answer your question, Irfan, loud and clear. Thank you so much.
The next question is come from Mohamed Shafi Roslizan from UiTM Puncak Alam. The question is, in your opinion, what's the most important thing that we need to consider in creating an innovation, and how do you succeed in innovation?
I would like to repeat again the questions. I just want to understand the context of the question.
In your opinion, what's the most important thing that we need to consider in creating an innovation, and how do you succeed in innovation?
Okay, thank you so much, Shafi'i Roslizan from UiTM Puncak Alam. Very wonderful question. I think despite you are from Puncak Alam, I think you have some good mentality, good thinking. To answer your questions, I think, as I mentioned in my slide, the most important thing is to create values. Create values. In innovation, eventually the end in mind, the objective is to create values. So for me, the most important thing is to create values. From your innovation, what are the values you want to create? Apakah nilai yang anda ingin cipta? In terms of customer experience ke? In terms of the technological breakthrough ke? In terms of the services that you offer? So value, what are the values, nilai you want to highlight in your innovation? In business terms, people always use USP, unique selling proposition. Unique selling proposition. So it shows that what are the unique thing about your offering, your product, your innovations to the market. So for me, the most important criteria is values. What are the values you want to highlight? Secondly, the second question is about the how do you succeed in innovation? I think this is a very vague question. So it's a very general question. So I would like to put it into context, general context and specific context in terms of innovation competition. So for example, in terms of general context, how you succeed innovation, as I mentioned in my slide, you need to have passion. You need to have passion, PASSION. You need to have interest. You need to develop interest. Sometimes people can develop interest, from time to time. You have to, how to develop interest, you have to build a habit. Build a habit. That's why I mentioned in my slide about myelin exercise. So try to train your brain to do a good habit of creating new things, innovative, being innovative. Create, every day you think about new things. Out from your comfort zone. Go and out from your comfort zone. So I think that would be a prerequisite for you to become successful in innovation. Having said that, in terms of the innovation competition perspective, if you want to succeed, for me personally, I think you have to work in a team. You have to collaborate. You have to work, get your colleagues to join together with you. Get your lecturers to join with you and talk about good ideas, talk about new ideas and so on. And how we can, challenge the status quo. Go and improve whatever the existing product that you have in your mind. So from there, you can offer the values. So at the end of the day, come back to the values. What are the values that you would like to highlight in your innovation? So having said that, I think, Shafi, for me, the basic thing, internal driven motivation is values. Values. What are the values you want to improve in your innovation prototype or ideas, concepts, and so on. Regardless whether it's a science, or engineering, or social science, everything has to be values. What are the values you want to bring? Or arts, whatever field. So you need to have values and collaborate with others. Work in a team, not work in silo, work in a team. So inshallah, with that, I quietly confident that Shafi and your friend will be successful in innovation journey, inshallah. Thank you so much.
The fourth question is come from Aisha Mazni. The question is, I start my business last during midst of pandemic. Few months later, I got accepted into UiTM Pulau Pinang, and this year I managed to create a team for my business. Feeling great to be able to contribute to the community as I can provide job opportunities. I'm still learning on how to expand sustain business during this whole semester. I got to join and learn lots on entrepreneurship with UiTM.
Okay, Masya Allah, Aisyah, Subhanallah, it's very good, very good. Very good comment from the Facebook. I understand that you started your business, in the midst of pandemic. That's a very good, element, Create an opportunity. Okay, create an opportunity. That's a very good element of innovators. Good job, kudos. Keep up the good job. Okay, and then you mentioned that you want to contribute to community. Yes, that's very good. It's about value creations, providing job opportunities, and you still learn how to expand, sustain the business. Yeah, that should be in your mind. It's always about continuous improvement. It's always about continuous improvement. Perhaps I would like to give some advice to you, Aisha, and the rest of the floor. Nowadays, okay, when you talk about innovation, the end game for innovation is about commercializations. So I'm sure you guys have some good ideas in terms of innovation that you think it might be sellable, it might be commercialized, in a market. So I would like to give some tips. So how we can go to that, I think you can work, first thing first, you have to work in a team. You have to work in a team, startups, good startups, companies. If I want to give some motivation to you, if you know MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in US, MIT is the number one engineering school in the world, number one in Boston, US, United States of America. For your information, in that town, in the Boston, 30% of businesses in Boston is being generated by MIT alumni. And how they got an idea, all those ideas generated when they were in MIT as a students. So they work with their professors in the MIT, they got some good ideas and they groom it, develop it, and they work out with the startup companies when they graduate. So let me say that if you want to have a good product, first thing first is value. What are the values that you want to highlight? The unique selling proposition. So you have to always revisit your business model. So the tools such as a business model canvas that I highlighted in the slide is very, very good model, very good tools for you to revisit what will be your business model. So business model, you talk about customer segment, you talk about market segment, you talk about the cost structure, you talk about the value proposition that you would like to highlight to your customers. So always talk to your collaborators, always talk to your networks and improve from there. So that you can sustain your business. And MashaAllah, I think your niat is so good to provide job opportunity for others because I believe that this is fardu kifayah. Become an entrepreneur is a fardu kifayah because you not just you feed yourself and your family, but you feed others' family as well. So that's a very good job. That's why people say business, 9 out of 10 of the rezeki is from business. So let me say that innovation is a good platform for you to start up your own business, create new things, because we don't want, right now, from my observation, my personal observation, I interact with a lot of industry players, especially SMEs, small medium enterprises. Sometimes SMEs like to copy others' product. They like to copy, they like to chilo all these ideas and try to become a follower, in the hope that people will accept the product. Let's change the mentality, starting from the UiTM students, because we have 200,000 students, 170,000 students, and we have almost 500,000 alumni. Let's have a mentality to create new markets, to create new niche market segment, and go for a business to create a blue ocean segment. And from there, I can bet that one day, inshallah, you will become successful. Create new values, become a follower, instead of become a follower, become a trendsetter. So create new things, create values, and I hope that you create opportunities, generate new opportunities, so that your business will grow and sustain. So obviously, I would like to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah will guide you, Aisha and the team, to in your business, and hopefully you will become a millionaire and can contribute to your society, in any means, zakat or whatever and so on. So thank you so much for the comments.
The next question come from Ashraf. The question is, can I know how can I patent my product and commercialize my product to community?
Ashraf, for the wonderful question. I think wow, you already have something in your mind, good idea that you would like to patent. For that, I think the typo error you mentioned in your YouTube patent, the spelling is P-A-T-E-N-T, not patent. P-A-T-T-E-R is patent, corak. Patent is P-A-T-E-N-T. Okay, so it's okay, no problem. People always confused about that. So, how to patent? Okay, good. So in Malaysia, we're talking about Malaysia. Malaysia, if you want to sell a product in Malaysia, okay, patent, we talk about patent. It has to be, one thing, it has to be novel. Novel means unique. Your invention must be different from others. Okay, different from others. Secondly, you can, if you want to go for patent on your own, meaning that you want to find your patentees and so on, you can go straight away to My IPO, Malaysian Intellectual Property Office, here in Penang, in Sunway, in KL, the headquarters in Bangsa, Wisma UOA in Bangsa, just next to the LRT Bangsa. So you can fill out a form, the patent form. I forgot the form number. I forgot the form number, but it's okay. You had a form, you fill out the form, you fill out the claims. The claims is important. What are the uniqueness of your invention? And you can start to file a patent. Okay? Just pay 290 ringgit. You can start file a patent and you will get the filing number. Okay, PI will start with PI 2021, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now that's one thing if you are patented. If your innovation is about products, it's about some tangible products. Let's say it's a brand, so you can do trademarks. If let's say it's a literature works, you can do copyrights. Usually the patent will last 20 years. So in the 20 years, if let's say you find out somebody infringed your patent, you can sue in the court. So that's how we do it typically. And how to commercialize it? Let's say that one, if you want to go alone. If you want to go to UiTM, you have to go through to Bitcom. As I mentioned in the slide, we have a department in UiTM we call Bitcom. Bitcom will help you. Like myself, I just patent end of last year one innovation about face mask. Just got the PI number. So I go through the Bitcom, so they will appoint the agent fees. The patent agent, and we will communicate with the patent agent and draft the patent documents. So, but of course, the UiTM will sponsor the money because usually if you want to hire a patent agent, it's quite expensive. But you want to do yourself, you also can, but you need to learn the legal terms in the patent drafting. You can attend the course, no problem with that. So, having said that, you can choose which route you want to go. And I think in Malaysia, the awareness to patent is quite positive at the moment. The people in the industry is already start to patent, start to file their innovation with the My IPO in order for them to protect their innovation. Sometimes the innovation in terms of the trademarks, in terms of the cap dagangan, trademarks, in terms of brand names. So they can also register that besides copyright and so on. So I hope that I answer your question, Ashraf. And I wish you all the best for your first patent. Alhamdulillah, myself already have several patents. Okay. Thank you so much.
So we go to the next question. The next question is come from Rick Shazi. The question is, these are very good points from professional technology Syazwan Osman. My firm is currently delivering innovation communication training to UNICEF and quiz students based on ISO 56002 elements.
Thank you so much, Shazi, for the comment. I guess you already have your own firm. It's very good, very good training, and of course we can comply to the standards, ISO and so on. That's a very good, I think, avenue for the students to learn about innovation, because I personally believe, I humbly believe, innovation is a crucial tool for the future employees, future graduates. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Rick Shazi.
The next question is come from Nurul Fashiha. The question is, how do you get the idea for the innovation that you already made in any product?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How do you get the idea for the innovation that you already made in any product?
Okay, thank you so much, Soleha. I think Fatiha asked the question. How I get idea? Oh, that's very cool thing to ask. Okay, of course you can't compare me lah, because I already imbued in myself the innovative creative thinking. So it's already in my habit. So I always can what you call generate new ideas. Even though I'm talking now, also can generate new ideas. But I'd like to recall back when I was a student like you guys, how I created. Okay, as mentioned in my slides, I always looking at the three elements. First is how I generate ideas through observation. One thing I realized from my students that I train in terms of innovation competition. Once I send them to innovation competition outside of Malaysia, internationally, when they come back, usually their mind will expose. Their mind will transcend the horizon. They will start to trigger new things and new ideas. So for me personally, how I can generate a lot of ideas, because one of my hobby, I like traveling. I like to go everywhere. I like to travel locally also, anywhere in Malaysia, I went there, and also internationally. If I have a chance to go internationally abroad, I will go. Because for me personally, when I go traveling, I'm going to observe a lot of things. So I will always observe. I always a good observer. So I will observe and curiosity, think. Okay, that's a good thing to do in my place, for example. And only then I will correlate it with knowledge that I learned, the ilmu, and of course I write it in the column. I write it so that we can realize their dreams, realize their ideas. So I think it's a good tip for you guys as well to start with. Or students who you think that you don't have idea, okay, I think for the start, go traveling. After this pandemic COVID-19, you can go travel. Or in fact, if without going traveling also, we can use our mobile phone, smartphone. You can just search any good places in the world, Korea, London, whatever, and observe what are kind of cultures, what kind of trends that been. I'm sure you guys are more fancy, tech savvy than me. So I'm sure that you guys are going to observe a lot of things. So for me, for the start, observe, go traveling and observe. So you will gain a lot of ideas, inshallah. Trust me, because that's what I did lah. So I like travel. I go not just abroad, but also locally. I travel a lot locally, and I observe. I'm a good observer, so I always observe and think, curious, and write it, and moving on for that idea, for the realization of part of it. So besides that, you need to communicate. Besides you observe, you need to communicate with. That's why I say the power of collaborations. You need to work with others. You need to work in a team, because I always believe diversity. That's what I learned when I was an engineer. Diversity is crucial to gain more ideas, gain good solutions. So when you have diverse team members or diverse opinion, so you're going to create a different perspective. a different perspective for a better solution. So that will be a good starting point as well. So my tips to answer Fatih's question is first, observe through traveling, and secondly, talk to others, collaborate, talk to others. So thank you so much for very interesting and wonderful questions.
The next question is, there are some quotes I read that innovation distinguishes between leader and follower. What does it mean?
Okay, thank you so much, Safika, for a wonderful question. It means that you really browsed through my slide. Very good. Okay, so Steve Jobs said, innovation distinguishes leader and a follower. Okay, how I can elaborate? Well, from I just want to correlate with my previous experience, my own experience. For me, if we have innovative skills, good innovative skills, good critical thinking skills, it really distinguishes you from your colleagues, your peers. Perhaps I would say that if you have a good innovation skills, a good idea, usually it's going to distinguish you among your colleagues. For example, in a meeting, you have 10 people in the room, but you come up with some good ideas. People will look at you and feel, wow, this guy has something, Of course, you need to implement the ideas. So that's why I say that innovation distinguishes leadership and followers. So when you are innovative, you will stand in front of people. You will stood up in front of people. So you train, indirectly it trains your leadership skills. Because once you be innovative, you need to communicate. Once you want to develop a product, you need to have a good project management skills. You need to arrange people and so on. And then you have to do communication. You have to communicate with a different level of people. So that's really polish your leadership qualities. So I would say that's why Steve Jobs quotes just now. I think it's very true. In fact, very true. And usually if you look at the organization, they are very innovative. Organization very innovative culture. They always stand in front from others. For example, the most valued company right now is like Amazon. It's like Apple, like Microsoft. So all these companies have one distinct culture. They are innovative in nature. So you can see they are, for example, like my company, when I was an engineer, I worked in Intel. Intel revenue 1 year is $40 billion. It's even more than Penang KDNK. It's more even than Kedah KDNK. Almost like approaching Selangor in KDNK. So one of the culture that we develop is being innovative. Always challenge the status quo. Always improve. Don't rest on your laurels. Always stay. So once you have this kind of mentality set, you will become leader. So if you just follow, you just be, laid and so on. So you will become a follower. You will become a follower forever. So it's your choice. So I would humbly say that that's one thing become innovative is going to make you stand out in front of your peers, your peers. And if you are leading an organization, then your organization is going to be stood up and become better in organization, inshallah. Thank you so much for your very wonderful questions.
The next question is come from Shafiq. This question is, in this pandemic situation, how we can see this situation as an opportunity, sir?
Thank you, Shafiq, for a very interesting question. I think it's a very relevant question at the moment, talking about in the midst of pandemic. As we all know that, personally, I feel that this pandemic, COVID-19, I look at it as an opportunity, rather than threat. Even of course we say we cannot travel, we cannot do our routine stuff and so on. But at the same time, it creates another opportunity. This is really what we talk about, borderless world. Borderless world. Last time, I never imagined that I'm going to talk with you guys from all over the country. Maybe last time, if I give a talk, I will just talk in front of my UiTM Penang students. So, but with this pandemic COVID-19, we have this webinar. It's an opportunity. So I can talk to people like just now, Puncak Alam, Johor and so on. All level, different kind of level of people. So that's opportunity. For me personally, how to make it as opportunity? Number one is you have to, if you cannot find opportunity, create it. If you cannot find, that's why Chinese proverb say, if you cannot knock a door, build a door. If you cannot knock a door, build a door. So you build a door, open it and create an opportunity. So be clear. And when you have innovation skills built in your habits, as I mentioned in a million practice by the neuroscientists, so you always look at things positively. Always look at things positively. So, for example, in this COVID-19, we know that economic is going very, spiraling downwards. People lost jobs. People have difficulty to, even have basic needs of having a good food. So, for example, certain sector like logistics center, they are booming. People order a lot of online stuff and so on. So even the logistics sector is booming. They have to hire more people and so on. So Shafiq, I think, in my humble opinion, you have to observe. You have to observe what are the opportunities that you can grab it. If you look at it and you find opportunity, go without further hesitation, grab it. Because if you don't grab it, other people will grab it. So then you have lost the opportunity. So a good opportunity is a not lost opportunity. So once you find opportunity, grab it, take it positively. Inshallah, I think we will become successful. For instance, like myself, my case, I never imagined last time when first lockdown, actually a friend of mine asked me to do hand sanitizer. I just do it for fun. And then initially it started with just 10 bottles of hand sanitizer. I just even package it in the cordial drinks bottles. I never imagined one day I already commercialized it in just a few months. So we do a lot of 29 different formulations. So you never know the opportunity. You never know opportunity. So always be positive. And I always believe that Allah SWT has already purposely created a good path for you. You just follow it and be confident about it. And inshallah, you'll be successful. As what Three Idiot movie always said, all is well. Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. So for the next question is come from Farid. The question is, why innovation make us able to build networking?
Okay, thank you Farid for a very interesting question. You mentioned about how innovation can expand the networking. Okay, now, one thing I believe always, I think I highlighted in my slide as well, how we want to spark creative thinking is collaborate, work in a team. Because I always believe, I humbly believe that diversity is crucial in order for us to move forward together, in terms of innovation and so on. So when you talk about diversity, it needs to be more than one. You cannot work silo, you cannot work alone. You have to work in a team. So for example, let's say you are from engineering schools, so perhaps you might want to work from people from culinary, people from science, health science or pharmacy, whatsoever. When you mingle around with different people with a different horizon, you might get a different opinion that you never thought about it previously. So that's why I believe the power of collaboration is so important. Even now, even in this pandemic, COVID-19, when we have this online, all these things, the power of networking, it becomes so obvious. Nowadays, for example, when I interact with my industry partners, I look at it. They always work in a team. Even though they know that in the short term they will not gain something, but they always believe in long term they will gain something profitable by working in a team. So, having said that, people, because naturally human being has to live in community. We cannot work silo. We cannot work alone. We are not jungle men, We're not jungle men staying in the jungle and so that. We are living in community. So, having said, when we want to do business, we need to interact with people. So, we cannot work silo. We cannot work alone. So, I always believe that in innovation, collaboration, of course, proactive collaboration, active collaboration, and synergized collaboration is so crucial for us, to move forward together. Regardless whether it's an innovation or in terms of commercialization of innovation products. So, in terms of student perspective, you have to work in a team. You have to work with your friends, regardless whether it's same faculty or different faculty, cross faculty. And I always encourage my students to work across faculty, so that sometimes the thing that you might think is good, it might not be the right thing to do if your friend from other faculty. So you need to appreciate, you need to recognize, you need to acknowledge the different perspective. And from there, it's going to improve you a lot. Inshallah, it's going to improve you a lot. So I hope I answer you, Shafiq. Thank you so much for the questions.
So we go for the last question for today. So the question is, in your opinion, why some student doesn't want to involve in innovation?
Thank you, Fatin, for I think this is very valid question. Valid question, practical question. In fact, I believe that's the one thing, because we know that number of students involved in innovation is still low. If you compare in UiTM perspective, it's still low because we have a lot of students. So obviously, the number is still low in terms of percentage wise. So why they don't like it involved? Well, for me, the reason wise, number one, they don't see the importance of involving in competition. Why they don't see? Because they don't get exposed. So I believe this avenue, this platform, this in webinar today is a very good platform. I think I have to say kudos to all the organizing committees for a very good job in initiating this program. Because I believe this avenue can expose the student, or at least, touch their heart. That innovation is crucial, it's important in their life. So, because I said the reason why they don't involve, one thing is because they don't realize why they should involve. They feel that I just come to university, go to class, go back, attend tutorial, attend lab, do the quiz, the test, assignments, and answer the exam questions, and that's it. That's my university life. In fact, you have more than that. In fact, personally, I also from university, of course. I learn from university. I believe whatever that you learn in the class is just 30%. 70% is whatever you learn outside of the class. That's build up your mentality. That's build up your perspective. Your skills and so on. So one reason is because students don't realize why it's so important. The second reason, sometimes they realize that's good. Okay, with their friends, they look at your friends' achievement, they look at it, their colleagues' success, but they still hesitate to join because they don't want to go outside from their comfort zone. Because they have a barrier, they have a barrier. They said, if I try to join, then I have to sacrifice my time I have to come in during the holiday, weekend, and so on. Other people go for holiday, play games. I have to go to the lab. I have to go to presentation whatsoever. So no need lah. So because they don't want to go out from a comfort zone. So I always believe in myself that if you want to be successful, You need to challenge yourself. You need to go outside of your comfort zone. Do something different. Only then you will learn. Because if you inside your comfort zone, your level maybe is this level. But if you jump atau hit the barrier, let's say people from semiconductor know about the band gap, you hit the band gap, the electron valence band gap, so you're going to hit the next level. So that's what we call as soaring to greater heights, soaring to greater heights. So in my humble opinion, we need to break this barrier. In order to break this barrier, that's why I said Gen Y, Gen Z always easily get influenced with their cliques. So the way how I did last time with my students, I always, when I recruit one person, I ask her or him, okay, recruit another 2 or 3 guys together with you. Initially, they will come because of the bagi muka lah kan, bagi muka to their friends. But once they get involved in innovation, they feel the excitement, the togetherness in doing innovation. They will start to enjoy. They will develop the passion and involve from time to time. And I can give you one statistic. This is what I can say because I attract my former students, alumni, which involved in innovation competition from my faculty, chemical engineering in UiTM Penang. Those who involved in innovation competition, locally or abroad, usually will get a job faster compared to those who did not involve. I have my alumni who get a job just before their final year project presentation. I got an alumni who involved in innovation competition, who get a job just 2 weeks after graduation. Usually less than 3 months. So they were all marketable. And trust me, during the interview, the employers will not ask about your CGPA. They will ask about your curricular activities. They will ask your experience. Like recently, one of my former students who last year involved with my hand sanitizer project, he get a job in Semenye, one of the company that develop and market hand sanitizer. So during interview, the manager asked him about the hand sanitizer development process. So he get the job because he did it during the university life. So my advice to you guys, come out, get out from your shell and, get out from your comfort zone, get out from your selimut, get out from your games and explore new things. Because it's so pity young guys like you guys sleep for 12 hours or, play games for 24 hours and so on and don't explore the other stuff, outside the world. There's a lot of beautiful things outside the world that you might want to explore and you might want to, to learn, because trust me, this survival skill is not just beneficial for yourself, but also for your family, also for the community, also for your nation. At the end of the day, you are the next, our future leaders. So with that, thank you so much for this and very interesting questions.
So, before we go to the next, I would like to welcome our speaker to close his speech for today.
Thank you again, Saleha, for the briefing on closing remarks. So I think in a nutshell, I would like to say that innovation is a continuous process. It has to be acculturate. It has to be, developed from time to time. You are going to feel hard. You need perseverance. You need sacrifice. But eventually, when you see the success, you see the achievement, you're going to gain a lot of satisfaction. And more on that, I think we have to put everything that you do as a niyat, as a ibadah to Allah SWT. And as I mentioned in my slide, innovation is about creating values. As a word, Prophet Mohamed SAW mentioned, the best person is the person who gives the most benefit to mankind. So be that best person. Be that best person. I'm sure that if we can, inculcate at least 100 of best person that giving the best benefits to mankind, I'm sure this university, this nation will be the best, in this generation. So I pray the best for you guys. I really, from my bottom of my heart, I sincerely wish you guys all the best. And from my side, if you guys need some, advice, I'm more than happy to help you guys. You can always contact me, and we can move together, inshallah. So get a mentor, get colleagues to work with you, and inshallah, innovation is a fun journey. You are going to embark a fun journey, and last but not least, of course, it's not just fun, but also it's very impactful. It's going to give a good positive stain in your life, inshallah. So with that, thank you so much for your attention, your cooperation. I would like to offer my humble apology for any misdeeds and miswords to all of you, and wish you guys all the best. So with that, I'm Syazwan Osman, sign off officially. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you to professional technologist Mohamed Syazwan bin Osman that have answered all the questions today. Before the program ends, let us sing the UiTM Di Hatiku song. I would like to repeat this information to all audience, especially UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang students. The Research Management Unit RMU will sponsor 4 teams to join the Penang International Invention, Innovation and Design 2021 that will until 11 March 2021. The criteria and deadline for the competition can see in our screen now. This info also can be retrieved in our Instagram and Facebook account MPP UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang. If you require any further information, the team leader can contact the person in charge, Professional Technologist Dr. Muhammad Ikmal Fazlan, 0173861 or MPP Natasha 01116365006. Every beginning, there is always an ending. And now, the program has come to its end. Once again, thank you everyone for joining our program today. We truly appreciate it. On behalf of the organizing committees, would like to apologize for any mistake throughout the event. Attention to UiTM Cawangan Pulau Pinang students, the e-activity QR code will open from 12:30 p.m. until 4 p.m. And for all audience, I hope you guys enjoy and gain some valuable input to upgrade yourself in current challenging times. I, Siti Nur Solehah binti Zainal Arifin, ending my duty as Master of Ceremony for today's event with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and see you again in the next event. #stay safe, #stay at home, #we can win.